Hello, I'm George Davis, and welcome back to another Monday morning motivational time. I pray that these are blessing your life and helping you to grow as a leader to develop all that God has intended for your life. Now, the month of October and November are tackling a really important subject for us as leaders, and that is how to develop relationships and what relationships do I really need to have in my life. When you're in a position of leadership, you can easily have a lot of people clinging to you, trying to pull on you, and maybe even have to wonder and question the motivation why somebody wants to be close to you. But the truth of the matter is, as leaders, we cannot afford to live out on an island being all by ourselves. So we've been talking about 8 different relationships that every leader needs to have in our lives. And if you've missed the motivation so far this month, we've already talked about Nathan and we've talked about Jonathan as 2 different people that we need to have in our lives. And today I want to talk about one by the name of Timothy. We're all familiar with Timothy. Timothy was the young son in the faith that Paul brought along, and he's what we refer to as a protege. A protege is one who is under the care and protection of another person. And all of us need to have a Timothy in our lives. We need to have somebody else that we're bringing alongside of us, somebody else that we're taking whatever growth and development we have in our lives and we're reaching back to help pull them up as well. Even if you say, well, I haven't really arrived yet, welcome to the club. None of us have arrived, and even when we think we have arrived, we haven't arrived, which means no matter where you are in your growth and development and maturity as a leader, we should always have somebody else that is not quite where we are that we're reaching back to grab on to pull up. You know, my family went to Dunn's Rivers Falls in Ochos Rios, Jamaica several years ago, and we climbed the falls. And one of the things that you learn doing that is you get into a group and you got somebody ahead of you and then somebody behind you, and everybody's responsible for making sure we all make it to the top of the falls together. That's the way we need to learn to do ministry. I like to say it this way. We need to live our ministerial lives with one arm up, 2 arms sideways, and then 1 arm down. It kind of forms a little bit of a cross. 1 arm up, which means we got somebody we're submitted to. We'll talk about that next week. 1 arm down, which means there's somebody we're helping to pull up. And then 2 arms sideways, which means we have at least 2 good friends in our lives that are comrades of ours, people on our same level, our peers, that we can be real, true friends with to help each other to grow. Now I want to read to you from 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse number 10 and 11. It says, "But you have carefully followed my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, long-suffering, love, perseverance, persecutions, afflictions, which happened to me at Antioch, Iconium, at Lystra, the persecutions that I endured, and out of them all the Lord delivered me." This is Paul talking. He's talking to his protege Timothy. And I love the fact that he says that he endured or saw him go through more than just doctrine. Which means if we're going to really have a protege, a Timothy in our lives, we can't just share with them the Word of God from the pulpit. We got to really be able to be open and honest, and to whatever degree of comfort we have, transparent. Because people even need to see when we go through difficult times, need to see how we cope with and deal with stressful times, because that allows them to grow and to develop. When you look at the life of Peter, Peter was able to raise a person from the dead in the book of Acts, but it happened because he saw Jesus up close and personal do the same thing when he raised Jairus' daughter from the dead. Whose life are you helping to make better and bringing alongside of you? It'll bless them, but guess what? It'll also turn around and bless you because you're pouring into somebody else's life. Don't miss next week. It's going to be good.